Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. As you come in, hit the like button. Hey, hey, hey. Press one if you can hear me. Press one if you can hear me, because I don't know if you can hear me. And start leaving your comments. Decoded, thank you. Andrea, thank you. E. Carter, thank you. Okay, so you guys know the deal, right? So the way we do it, like we always do, Chanelli Marie. Let's see if I got anyone. Unica, welcome. Okay, the way we always do it is we give everyone 5 minutes to gather their wigs, their weaves, their curls, their coils, their kinks, and their do-rags. MAV, Patrick, welcome. Okay, okay. Kelvin, welcome. So we give everyone, 5 minutes, to gather themselves together because, when I go live, we're about to do some work, right? So gather your cornrows, your waves, your curling irons, your do-rags, your kinks, your coils, your hair dye. By the way, I had to shave off all my hair again because I over bleached my hair and it started to break. Because where I am, it's really hot and really dry, which was hilarious. So I had to like shave it all off again. So it's like back to square one. It was hilarious. And it's like growing back, gather your edges. Woo! Okay. Okay. Gather your edges. Gather your edge cream. You know how it goes. Okay. Gather your sheen. All right, your hair mousse, your gel, whatever it is, just gather it all together. Okay. All right. So I'm in the back. We got 3 minutes before we start. So I'm going to wait till people start coming in. Then we're going to get started. Okay. So I'm going to mute. I am here. I am in the back. Okay. Cool. Okay. All right. So before we get started, let's do some announcements. I want everyone who can, I want everyone who can to be there this Friday. I want everyone who can to be there this Friday. This Friday is once a month group training. This Friday, I am going to show you some concepts and some principles because even when I'm not online, I'm working, right? That was downloaded to me about how things are created and how things are destroyed. It's a cycle. And I think I began to when I began to look at this, we're going to get started soon. When I began to look at this, I realized that's the reason why they want technology in us, because they want to block us from accessing the cycle of creation, the matrix of creation, right? So let me just do a roll call before I get started. Decoded, Unica, E. Carter, Andrea, Marie, Chanelli, Patrick, MAB, Kelvin, Woke, So, Nate, Jared. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so let me continue. There is a cycle to an energetic cycle to how things are created. There is an energetic cycle to how they destroy. And the cycle was revealed to me. Thank you, E. Carter. The cycle was revealed to me. Now, the energy is everywhere, constant, everywhere, always. And that's why they want to put technology in us. And that's why they want to change us. The technology in us is to hijack that cycle. Did everyone catch that? The technology in us is to hijack that cycle so that we move from creators to destroyers. So, one of the things, and I did this, I actually did this. God is my witness, I did this. Okay. So, you guys know I am not lying to you. Okay. Backstory. And I always tell you guys my story to give you hope, not to make you despair, but to give you hope, to hope and believe, and not just hope, but to manifest the impossible. Now, you all know what they did to me. They destroyed my life and brought me to nothing. So no one's going to tell me I don't know what their plans are. Oh, I know. And this is why I try to give you guys as much keys as possible for survival. So I literally did not have the finances to move. But does anyone remember what we did the last day of the year? The group training on December 31st? The group training on December 31st was for what? We did spiritual cleansing, and then we did group manifestation where people would get the finances they needed to do what they needed to do. Does anyone remember that group training? Right? At the end of not last year, but at the end, I should say, not 2022, but at the end of 2021, I should say, because we do it like every year, right? Okay, so watch this. So remember, one of the things they do in order to bring about this agenda is to leave the person financially destitute. Now, when we did that financial breakthrough, that manifestation, okay, it wasn't prayers, it was manifestation using group energy. I was able to get what I needed to get the hell out of New York. I'm telling you guys, this thing works. Okay? Does everyone remember that? It was 2021 group training. Okay? The last day, December 31st, 2021, where we said we're going to do a spiritual group training. Okay? I want you guys to like pay attention. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. Okay? Pay attention. There's a reason why I'm telling you guys this. So everyone press one because I don't want to repeat myself. And we got to get started on the lesson because the lesson is kind of long today. Everyone press one if I have your attention. Okay? So when you post a comment, your comment must be in relation to what I'm saying because I need you to keep the chat focused. Thank you. Press one because I need your attention. Okay? So you guys know how they came after me to utterly destroy me. They did. So I didn't have the resources to just pick up and move. So my spirit said to me, Renetta, last day of the year, because the last day of the year and the first day of the year are the two most powerful gates. Okay. Last day of the year, first day of the year are the two most powerful gates, and you must always stand in between those gates and manifest what you want for the entire year. And one of the things I manifested in 2021, I said, 2022, I will be in this place. I did not have the finances to do it because they ruined my life. But I did it. And we did it. And we used the collective energies to do it. So it can be done. Now, in my meditation, because notice I don't do live stream every day, all day anymore, right? There's a reason why I don't, because I now wait for the process of getting the wisdom and the knowledge before I do a live stream. Now, one of the things that was shown to me, and I'm not going to get into it now, we're going to do it on Friday, is there's an actual process to creation and there's an actual process to destruction. I'm going to show you the process that was revealed to me. And the reason why they want to put technology, and they put technology in my body, because I'm a creator, you're a creator, is because the technology allows them to hijack that and steer it where they want. Okay? So, one of the things we have to do is we have to do energetic travel. What? Astral travel? No, astral is light body. Astral is using your light body. The travel that we're going to be doing is using the energies of creation that's already in you. And we're going to use it into the holographic universe, into the holographic earth, into the holographic matrix, exactly where the answer is for what you need. And we're going to take it out of there and bring it into this realm. And we're going to do it using not your light body, but the energies of creation that's in you. That is what we're going to be doing on Friday. So, everyone, I want all of you to be there. You know me. If you can afford it, pay, be honest, because I don't go around robbing people. Okay. I try to give honest work for honest pay. Okay. And I don't charge some ridiculous exorbitant price. That's not how I do stuff. Okay. And you guys can tell I'm not trying to get rich off of this stuff. Look at what I charge. But there's a reason why I charge. I used to do stuff for free. You know how that goes. I'm not going there. But this Friday, I want you guys to be there. Number one, be there. It's going to be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm going to really emphasize that everyone be there on Friday. Number two, you have to bring your problem. You have to bring your problem. No problem, Decoded. You can always watch it in the replay. Okay? You have to bring your problem. Whatever the issue is, bring it. Because we're going to be using the energy body, not the light body, but the light body used for astral travel. we're going to be using the energy body to tap into the holographic matrix to get what is ours. Okay? Because that's what they use to steal what is ours. Okay? So did everyone catch that? That's Friday, 7 p.m. And I don't have to prove to anyone why I charge. I don't even care at this point. But here's the second thing. If you have it, pay the full price. You know, I'm very honest in how I do things, right? I said, but if you don't have it, whatever you can pay, email me. Okay? And decode it if you want to pay. Okay, if you want to pay and then, like, I send you the video, that's fine too. Okay? All right, so we're going to get started. There's a reason why I'm doing this. Has nothing to do with Friday, but this is more the left hemisphere of your brain as opposed to the right hemisphere of your brain, or both hemisphere of the brain working together, right? Tonight's teaching is I want you guys to start using critical thinking. Now, when you're with me, you know me, I'm very spiritual, but I'm also very brass tacks, like common sense. Okay? Exactly, decode. Well done. Well done. Now you're talking. Okay? Like before, I taught you guys how to use your astral body. I taught you guys how to use your psionic abilities, how to look at realms and see beyond the naked eye. Now I'm trying to show you guys how to use your energetic body. Okay? We are more, way more, way more than they told us we are. And religion acts like an enemy because anyone beating you up and telling you you're a sinner, no, it's not helping you get to where you need to be. Okay? Anyway, let's continue. So, being there on Friday, you got to bring the problem, whatever the problem is. Okay? And you got to be there 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay? Be there. Okay? And I posted the link. The link, this is the link. Okay? So book. All right, let's get started. Okay, so tonight, here's what I want to show you guys. Now, many of you don't vote, neither do I. But people keep voting and running around the same hamster's wheel, getting nowhere. But tonight, I'm going to show you a different way in which you discharge your energy. Voting is an energetic process. Voting is not just you casting a ballot, which is witchcraft, and you cast something. Anyway, casting spells. Anyway, okay? It's an energetic exchange. And have you noticed every time people vote, which is an energetic exchange, they get nothing for it. And the people who don't vote, like the mega corporations, the lobbyists, et cetera, they get everything. Why? Because you don't demand what is this? Because you're under a doctrine of unequal exchange. Did everyone catch that? You're under the doctrine of an unequal exchange. You vote, everyone at the top benefits. You keep voting, they keep giving you another selection. Now, today we're going to use critical thinking in how you should look at any candidate. You see, in order to do this, you got to break massive mind control. Okay, notice the American people don't pick the agendas. The American people don't pick the issues. And the American people don't pick the politicians. And notice every time you vote, there's only one constant. The agenda always keeps moving forward. So let's get to it. Okay? Let's get to it. Hold on. Let's see here. I'm trying to find this thing here. Hey. Okay, found it. Okay, great. All right. So today we're in class. Okay, we're in class. Let me make this a little bit bigger. All right. So, how to vote in the 21st century, the do's and don'ts, why we always lose. Why we always lose. Number one, when you vote, you don't vote on who you select. That's why you always lose. You vote on someone else's selection and you elect the select. Is anyone on planet Earth today? Write it down. You elect the select. Okay? You don't vote. You elect the select. Is anyone on planet Earth today? Did everyone catch that? So right there is the problem of why nothing changes. Because you don't select the elect. Let me say that. You don't select the elect. Do you see the witchcraft? Does everyone see the witchcraft? They select who you elect. Hold on. I thought the power was in the hands of the people. No, bait and switch. You should be selecting those you're electing. Number one reason why you lose. Now, here are some do's and don'ts. This is some critical thinking along with some spiritual application of why we lose and we will continue to lose. When you vote, voting is no good. And they lie to you and they tell you you should vote. Why? Because voting requires your participation in your destruction. Oh, did anyone catch that? They need you to participate in your destruction. Is anyone on planet Earth today? They need you to participate in your destruction. But today, we're going to learn how to select the elect. Or did anyone catch that today? We are going to learn how to select the elect. Your energy is your currency. That's what you use to cast. In order to cast anything, casting usually pertains to a spell. You're casting your ballot and you're casting spells. So they're using your energy. But we always lose. They're not just using your energy, they're using your money, your taxes. So we select, we elect the select to be destroyed. I mean, this is bullshit. Let's continue. You vote on their agenda. Okay, so let's look at the principles of when you're voting, the do's and the don'ts. Okay, what they give us is to vote for personalities. Americans like to vote for good looking. They're good looking, they sound well, and they have charisma. That is called a personality. If you vote for a personality, you are voting for bondage. Is anyone on planet Earth today? If you vote for someone with a personality you like, you are voting your way to destruction. You are voting to become transhuman. You are voting yourself into bondage. Why? Because schizophrenics have personalities. Huh? Personalities in your leader having charm will always get you into trouble. Here's the other thing: idolatry. Here's the other problem: the don'ts of voting. Idolatry, meaning worship, worshiping the candidates the selectors give you to elect. Idolatry. What does that mean? And I'm not religious, I'm meaning idolizing the person. Always remember, no politician, no political figure you know personally is anyone on planet Earth today. Do you know this person from childhood? No. How are you idolizing them? Do you know this person in secret? No. Why are you idolizing them? Do you know this person when they're successful? No. Why are you idolizing them? Do you know this person when they fail? No. Why are you idolizing them? Do you know the ethics and morality of this person when they're given very complex situations to solve? No. Why are you idolizing them? If you are idolizing your leaders, you are voting for your destruction. You must have no emotional investments in your leaders. Is anyone on planet Earth today? You must not be emotionally invested in your leaders. You know, as ruthless people in business, you know what they say? It's just business. Don't take it personal. If you have any emotional connection to your leaders, you're voting yourself into destruction. Why? Because when your leaders do wrong, because of that emotional bond with them, you would not want to correct them for fear of that bond being broken. No emotional connection to your leaders. When I say your leaders, I mean your public figures. Okay? Then the last don't is this: have you looked at their track record? No. What the hell are you voting for? You're voting based on something, the cuckoo box, the tell lie vision, tell lies to your eyes. You're voting on tell lie vision's perception of the person. If the tell lie vision is telling you to love someone or to hate someone, and that is the basis with which you're voting, you are voting for your destruction. Is anyone on planet Earth today? Psionic, well said. So that's a don't. Now, how do we vote? If you vote, how does one with two brain cells to rub together? How does a person who maintains critical intelligence, a moral compass, and strength of character vote? Marie, well said. Maria, well said. Watch this. You have to vote when you're voting for, even if they select the person, okay, they select and you elect. And it should be you select and elect, but we know how wicked the system is, right? Let's pretend like the system works for the people, whatever. What do you do? What, how do you cast? How do you cast, which is witchcraft, your vote? Oh, voting is a spell, right? Anyway, let's continue. You must vote on when you're dealing with the person in front of you. There's two things to consider. One, it's not personality, it is principles. Everyone write that down. Not personality, but principles. They have you voting on personality with no principles. So, minus, plus, not personality, but principles. At the ballot box. So you vote for Baal, and Baal always wins, right? Well said, the ballot box. You know, Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah, it's right there. Thank you, Rasta Hotep. You vote at the Baal, Lot, Sodom and Gomorrah. The Sodomites and the Gomorrites were worshiping Baal. It's right there. So they got you voting for personalities instead of principles. So the do's of selecting a public official is principle. Principle. This is what you look for in the person. Here's the second thing you look for. The politicians will tell you, this is my plan. But how many of them tell you, this is my written ethical constitution? Oh, did anyone catch that? Did anyone catch that? We're talking about critical thinking here today. Critical thinking today. Huh? Did anyone catch that? Politicians tell you their plan. Before you tell me their plan, I need to know your character. Pyramids, you're welcome. What is your written, ethical, and moral constitution? I need to point to that. Why is that important? How many times the politicians say, we're going to do this, this, and this, they get in office, take your tax dollars and do that, that, and that doesn't benefit you. Is anyone on planet Earth today? Before you can look at the plan, what is their moral and ethical constitution? If they have none, what are you voting for? Number two, apart from their personal moral and ethical constitution, politicians must have a written, binding social agreement with taxpayers first and foremost. So they have to have two constitutions. Oh, we're going home today. Oh, oh, oh. Okay, we're going there today, right? So there's two constitutions. I don't want your plan about how you're going to fix a damn thing. I need to know that when I do the act of casting a spell called voting, I need to know that I'm going to get returns on casting my Baal lot. You're following? Because every time I cast my Baal lot, the children of Baal win and I lose. Is anyone on earth today? Is anyone on earth today? The children of Baal, who are Lot's children, They win and I lose. So what am I voting for? First thing you need is a personal integrity statement. It must be written. You have to be able to point to it. Don't tell me a plan for fixing the country. I need to know that you have the moral constitution to do what is right. Okay? Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Yep, I'm back. Okay, so let's continue. The second thing you need is a binding social agreement. You don't believe me? Do you know that every politician in the United States have a binding social agreement to put Israel first? Did you hear what I just said? Every US politician has a binding agreement to go to Israel and pledge allegiance to Israel first. And if they don't, they will they will run against them and kick them out of office. What are you voting for again? So number 1, I need an ethical constitution from you. Number 2, I need a binding social agreement. If we are to vote, we need a binding social agreement that we come first. Okay. Now watch this. If they have one, they must be able to point to it. If they don't have one, don't vote for them. Oh boy. All right. Here's where we get to the second part. Okay? And that country, people say that it's America running them, the little strip, in the Middle East, but it's them running us. They're the only group on earth that you cannot criticize when they do wrong. Why? Because their politicians have a binding social agreement with them to put them first above and beyond American taxpayers. What are you voting for? What are you voting for? Right? Okay, let's get down to the don'ts again. Don't vote on issues. Oh, this issue, and the American people are facing this issue, and that issue, and this issue, and that issue. Let me tell you something about issues. When you vote on the issue, notice what the politicians do. They cause chaos. Well, not the politicians, but the people at the top. They cause chaos so that there's 10,000 issues of the day that need to be fixed. But do you know what stays constant? And no matter who you put in power, you want to know what moves ahead? The agenda. Have you noticed that? The issue of the day is LGBTQ. But the New World Order slave system moves forward. You see what I'm telling you? The issue today is abortion. And I believe abortion is human sacrifice. The issue of the day is abortion. But you want to know what's moving forward? Killing the people who are already here with toxic quack, 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 quack. Do you see the difference between issues and the agenda? Now, let me show you how they bait and switch you. So, when you go to vote, notice that the people at the top give you the issues to vote on: LGBTQ rights, critical race theory, which is the worst thing they could do to Black people. And I keep telling Black people, run from critical race theory, okay? Don't have any part of it because they're insulting you. Critical race theory. Okay, racism and oppression is not a theory. Okay, people actually go through these things. Right then and there, they tell you we're belittling you because we called it a theory. Right? They tell you the issue is, transvestites, doing drag shows in the schools. Don't get me wrong, that's a serious issue. Okay. Um, they tell you the issue is the next variant. But notice every election cycle, it's a new issue. But are your wages going up? The bathroom issue. Are your wages, are your salaries increasing? No, because the agenda remains the same. Are you becoming healthier living in the United States? No, because the agenda remains the same. Are there less children disappearing into Never Never Land? No, because the agenda remains the same. Do you have more rights today than you did 20 years ago? No, because the agenda remains the same. Do you see the issue between issues and the agenda? The people at the top never want you to vote for or against the agenda. The agenda is what moves forward. Are you beginning to understand how to select leaders? If you are not selecting, that is the first problem. If you are not, as a society, in control of the agenda, you are not voting. You are merely getting your energy harvested. Are the cuckoo towers going up or coming down? They're coming up, they're going up. You're not in control of the agenda. Don't vote for issues. Do vote for and against agendas. Why? Because issues are based on a time, a short time span. Agendas are for the long haul of where they want to take you. Are you understanding how to use your brain when you cast the spell called voting at the Baal lot box? Lead yourself, exactly. But I'm not making this for you guys because I know you guys don't even vote like me. I'm like, forget it, I'm not doing it. But for people who do vote, we need to teach them critical thinking. Anything that is an issue is for short term division and distraction. Anything that is issue related is for division and distraction. What do you mean by that? Okay, so look at this. A bunch of billionaires go into a submersible to visit the Titanic of their own volition. They died, and that is a horrible thing, even though, I don't believe anything the television tells me at all. But that's just me. 700 migrants on a boat who were forced to flee their country because certain groups want the mineral rights on their land and push them out of their country. And they were heading into Europe. Their boats were sunk. Many of them were killed and then organ harvested. Nobody cared. Issues are used for division and distraction. Did everyone catch that? Issues are used for division and extraction. Issues are used for debates. Anyone getting you into a debate is playing you with the Masonic checkerboard. Is anyone on earth today? Did anyone catch that? Issues are used for debates. Debates are to play black against whites on the Masonic checkerboard. It is harnessing angry energy that produces nothing for you and fuel for the creatures. Issues are for debates. No, you don't need debates. What you need is to get shit fixed. I don't want you to debate upon the issues. Fix it. You see the difference? Let me show you what I mean. When a company hires a CEO, okay, they don't spend all day debating how to fix the company's low sales. They bring in the best people and they say, fix it, or you're fired. If a company has low performance, they bring in the best people, they say, fix it, or you're fired. What are you debating? Debates are for distraction, which gets you nowhere and energy harvested. Yes, yes, Psionic, they wanted Uganda and they wanted Kenya. Before they stole, Palestine and claimed it's theirs, they tried it in Uganda and Kenya, and the people said, hell no, you guys were lucky. Okay, watch this. Issues are used for endless investigations. Oh, there's a new issue. What are you going to do about it? Investigate. Okay, so when you're done investigating, are we going to prosecute anyone? No, we're just going to investigate some more. Notice, issues never get resolved. You know what they do with the issues? They never resolve the issues and they create more issues. Why? On top of issues, on top of why? It's to push the agenda forward. Now, another do that you need is that you need to have in writing that those who you select are not a part of a secret society. Oh boy. Bingo, Mala. Issues are manufactured. They're manufactured to cause chaos, which is moving left and right on the Masonic checkerboard. So that the black part of the checkerboard fights the white part of the checkerboard, and the white part of the checkerboard fights the black part of the checkerboard, and no one brings a solution. That is what issues are for. And you know what they do? They never solve the issues, but they heap issue on top of issue on top of issue. Why? To bury the fact that the agenda moves forward. If you are voting for someone, you need to have it written on paper. They are not a part of any secret society. Did I say what I just said? Did anyone hear what I just said? If they're a part of any secret society, who are you voting for? Where is their allegiance? How can their allegiance be to you and to a secret society? Oh boy. Oh, they're not going to love this one. Did you hear what I just said? Okay. Let me know if that woke you up a bit. How are you voting for someone whose allegiance is to something secret? How are you voting for someone to be transparent when their loyalty is to something that operates in secrecy? Right, we know that they flip stuff, Rasta. Let me show you a principle. I'm going to say it again. If someone has affiliation and allegiance to secret societies, how are you asking your government to be transparent when their allegiances are to something secret? You need a binding agreement that your leaders are not part of secret societies, secret organizations, secret meetings, secret agendas, secret allegiances. You can't expect them to be transparent and loyal to anything in secret. It's not going to work. Let's continue. Okay, now the do's and don'ts when you do the witchcraft act of voting and casting your Baal lot. Thank you, Rasta Hotep. Baal Lot. Baal was the god of Lot's generation. Bala. Let's continue. You'll either vote for or against agendas and policies. Did anyone hear how to vote? Did anyone hear how to vote? I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you the secret. I'm going to show you the secret. Okay. What do you mean, Renetta? Let's look at the last 3 years. So Operation Warp Speed was crafted by both the military and the NIH. Okay. Trump authorized it because he had the power to do so. Did Trump create Operation Warp Speed? Yes or no? Did he create it? Yes or no? The answer is no. Hold on. But Trump is the most powerful. Huh? What? No. Operation Warp Speed was from FEMA, the DOD, and NIH. Do you see the difference? Operation Warp Speed was the agenda and the policy. Do you guys catch that? The NIH are not voted in. The DOD are not voted in. FEMA is not voted in. Did you catch that? They are responsible for policies and agendas. Did everyone catch the difference between issue that they tricked the masses? They have the masses voting on issues instead of policies and agendas. Do you see the difference? Who creates agendas and policies? Is it the president? No. It is the unelected administrators who create policies and agendas that always move forward. When they do live debates, they have the American people riled up on the issues of the day, which will not stop the agendas, and they will not stop the policies. Who, when you are voting, do not vote for the political leader. What? Renata, so what's the point of voting? Let me say this again. When you go to vote, do not vote for the politician standing in front of you. What you need to look at is who are and will be the policy makers. Who are and will be the creators or the enablers or the people who push the agenda forward. Did anyone catch what I just said? Oh, we're using critical thinking today, people. Did everyone catch what I just said? No, did you really catch? Aha, good. Do you see the difference between issues that require debates and then the country's divided and you hate each other and you forget that your children has to live here? And you see the difference between voting for and against agendas and policies. In order to know the agenda doesn't come from the president. You know who the agendas come from? His or her staff. You want to know where the policies come from? Don't call them unelected bureaucrats, the administrative branch. Understand how to vote. Let's continue. When you find who the policymakers are, when you find who the agenda creators are, you need to know who funds them. You need to know, where does the money go? If you are not following the money, where do those policymakers get their money? And how that money is spent, what are you voting for? Let me ask you again. Your policymakers are funded. Who funds them? And when they're funded, does the money go towards making America and Americans or your nation better? Because who funds them creates the policies. The policies never change. We're using critical thinking today. Okay? You have to find out who the administrators are. You have to find out who are the policymakers in your government. The policymakers are the hidden hand behind the politicians. Then you have to find the money. When you find the money, where it comes from and where it flows, the inflow and the outflow of the money will show you the long-term agenda. Now watch this. Policies and agendas, which never change, are not created by politicians. Everyone needs to write this one down. Write this down. You need to get this. You need to get this. Policies and agendas are not created by politicians. If you miss this, you should not vote. Policies and agendas are not created by politicians. Did everyone hear what I said? So what are you voting for? If the policies and the agendas are not created by the politicians, what are you voting for? I mean, we're going to school today. Are we in class today or are we in class today? Are we in class today or are we in class today? Let's continue. Now, here's where we go with the real meat on the bone. Policies and agendas are created by corporations, oligarchs. That should be oligarchs. That is this uber elite, uber wealthy. Sorry, not elite. They're not elite over me. Military, better yet, military industrial complex, the intelligentsia. Most 99%, 90%, I should say, of policies and agendas are crafted by these two. Do you know who they are? How many people vote and know who these two groups are? The intelligentsia, and I'm talking above the NSA, and there's a couple above the NSA, like 27 of them above the NSA, and think tanks. How many people go to vote and know who the intelligentsia is and why they bear the strongest role, the intelligentsia and think tanks? They have the strongest role in why your country looks the way it does, why your money is spent, your tax dollars are spent the way it is. Why these two groups are the reason why your tax dollars are spent. These two groups are the reason why you have no privacy. These two groups are the reason why your medical agenda for the last 3 years was the way it was. These two groups determine what you eat. How many of you know the think tanks and the intelligentsia that's involved in your country all over the planet looking the way it does? But you're voting? Voting for what? Let's continue. The last group, which gets all of their feedback from these two, are international organizations. Yes, Unica, absolutely. More like these three. Okay? I know government is not on here, and there's a reason why government is not on there, because the government take their marching orders from these three, the main marching orders from these three. Unica, this is more, what I'm teaching here is just more than voting. I'm teaching you what is holding up the system. I am showing you underneath the iceberg. You know, the iceberg at the top, and then the seawater, and then underneath, the iceberg is bigger at the bottom. I'm showing you underneath the surface of the ocean what's holding up the iceberg at the top. It's this. But they tell you to vote based on this. People, stop getting played. Okay, now that we've finished that, now let's get to what agendas you need to vote on. The types of agendas that never damn change. If you are going to vote, after you've understood the do's and don'ts of voting, when you go to vote, these are the most important issues. Yes, Unica, that you need to present to anyone voting. If they do not have a position on this, I am telling you, you are voting for slavery. We are not voting on issues. You are voting on agendas and policies. Let me say this again. If you are serious about turning your country around from corruption, you have to vote the agendas out and vote your agenda in. Number one, your number one issue when you vote is chemtrailing. Chemtrailing. Why? You cannot survive without clean air. Is anyone on planet Earth today? The number one issue, agenda, not issue, the number one agenda every voting human on planet Earth must vote out. You see? That's powerful, Rast. I'm going to come back to that. It's chemtrailing. You could live 3 days without water, 3 days without fluids. How long are you going to live without air? If you are not telling the system that holds your politicians up, that is the administrative system that creates and crafts the policies that never change. If you are not voting out chemtrails, the number one issue, the crop dusting us like cockroaches, what are you voting for? How long can you last without oxygen, people? Climate change, my ass. How long are you lasting without clean air? What are they spraying us with? You believe that the number one issue is abortion. Here's my question. Here's my thing. Why are you bringing more children into the world to be breathing barium, strontium, aluminum, blood particles, and viruses? That is what we're being cockroach sprayed and crop dusted. Nanofibers, nanotech, cobwebs. They're raining down cobwebs on our heads, but the number one issue is abortion. What are you bringing the children on earth to breathe? Spider webs? Your number one issue is clean air, clean skies. Number two, your number two issue is what you consume. Because after clean air, because it won't last without clean air, you need clean food. What are we putting into the food that within 40 years, people went from average 100, 120 pounds for women and 160, 70 pounds for men to women 180, 200 pounds and men 200 plus pounds? What are we putting in the food? If you are not voting for clean food, what are you voting for? Brass tacks, people. They went from GMO to quack, 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 quack. Okay? So clean air, clean food. And then the third one should be, what are we drinking? Do you know the reason why in the United States, men, and I'm not making fun of men, this is not funny, but I'm just saying, men are getting larger breasts because of the estrogen from the birth control that's in the waters. What are you voting for? When people come to tell me gays aren't born, I'm like, shut up. Okay? How the hell are you telling me they're not born with astrazine turning frogs gay? Okay? What are we drinking? What are we cooking with? What is going through our pores? If you're not voting to Ixnay on the Ixnay with the fluoridated water, the zombie water, the cuckoo water, what are you voting for? Yes, the head insectoid wants to put his quack, 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 quack in the vegetables. So now we're eating GMO, quack, 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 quack vegetables. Can you imagine? Okay. Then watch this. The fourth thing you should be voting on are the mind control. I used to call them cuckoo towers, but I upgraded the name now to I gave them an upgraded name. They used to be called, formerly known as cuckoo towers. Now they are Orbia towers and Orbia antennas. Or, as Americans would say, voodoo towers and voodoo antennas, because that's what they're there for. What do you think they're there for? Faster downloads? Thank you, Avion. Thank you. Not only that, okay? Now, our loving Congress, who loves us so much, just passed a law to change all meat in fast food restaurants to synthetic meats. Okay? Let me ask you a question. We have people from all over the United States. Okay? It is estimated. Now pay attention. Everyone press one because I need your attention. Then I'll get back to the Orbia towers and the Orbia antennas. Everyone press one because I need your attention. Okay, press one. I'll wait. I need your attention. So our loving government, who loves us so much, decided that it's not good for us humans to have real meat. We're going to have synthetic meat. Okay. Now, everyone here lives all over the United States. And so far, we had about 30 million migrants. So between 10 million and 30, okay, let me use more conservative numbers. Between 6 million and 10 million migrants come across the border within 3 years. 6 million and 10 million migrants. Let me ask you a question. Has anyone here seen a migrant in the last 3-4 years? Press one if you've seen any of these elusive migrants who's been coming over the border. I haven't seen any. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? I'll wait. Okay, Psionic, you understand what time of you understand English. Psionic, you understand English. Okay? It is estimated that between 6 million and 10 million migrants came over the border. No one I spoke to has seen these migrants. But the oobly goobly, I stared. The oobly goobly. God help me, I shouldn't be laughing. The oobly goobly, okay, decides to roll out synthetic meat. And I've been asking, where are the migrants who've been coming here the last 3 years? Okay. Okay. I said 6 million migrants, and the only migrants you could show me is 1,000 of them you recycle in New York City. And now you roll out synthetic meat. You're trying to feed us soylent migrants? Listen, never forget you're in Babylon, dealing with Babylonians. That's all I'm going to say. They're trying to feed us soylent migrants. Not only that, where's the bodies of all these people who died over the last 3 years? And now you roll out synthetic meat? People, people, people. Where are all those people? Okay? Where are all those people who disappeared under the policy the last 3 years? And it's a cowinkly dinkly that the oobly goobly rolls out synthetic meat for us to eat. People, let's continue. Never forget, you're in Babylon dealing with Babylonians. Babylonians are alchemists. They take something and convert it to something else, like you take migrants and turn them into Soylent burgers. Anyway, let's continue. So the next voting principle. Now you take the migrants and turn them into Soylent burgers. Anyway, let's continue. So the next thing you should be voting on are the Obia Towers. Let me change it so Americans can understand. No offense to voodoo. Okay. Right, let me put it this way. How about this? This is better. This is more like it. So the next thing you should be voting on are the Satan Towers and the Satan antennas. Is anybody in the building today used for mind control? If you are not voting for a leader who will stop the rollout of the Satan Towers and Satan antennas used to create criminals, used to create pedophiles, used to create violence, used to create murder, what are you voting for? And the human biosludge, no, Missy, well said. The human biosludge fertilizer. Yep. Okay. 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 Yes, Patrick, that is the meat. The meat are the migrants and the people who died the last 3 years. That is your synthetic meat. Okay? Never forget you're in Babylon. Let's continue. If you are not stopping 3G, 4G, 5G cuckoo towers that are put up, they are not there for faster downloads. They are there to upload your consciousness and turn you into a criminal, a pedophile, and violent. No other reason. And when they turn them all on, scorch earth, everything. If you are not voting out Satan's towers, if you are not voting out Satan's antennas, what are you voting for? Let's continue. If you are not voting to halt the changing of the biosphere, they're saying, oh, the biosphere is collapsing because the AI is changing it to a technosphere. Is anyone on planet Earth? What do you mean? The ecology of the planet is collapsing because they are replacing carbon in order to bring about a silicon-based life form. They have to destroy carbon. If you are voting for an elected leader who does not want to preserve the biosphere, what are you voting for? You must vote to preserve the biosphere from being taken over by the technosphere. Is anyone on Earth today? These are 4 principles. If you are not voting for a politician, for politicians to increase testosterone in men at stable levels, if your politician does not look into lower estrogen in women at stable levels, what are you voting for? You are voting for your men to be women and your women to be men. Is anyone on planet Earth today? You're telling me about climate change while you're converting the biosphere to a technosphere by crop dusting us and cobwebbing us. Oh, by the way, DARPA is, did anyone hear that DARPA? Oh, this is going to be lovely. DARPA is launching their own satellites. God help us. And then they sit back and they complain. Man-made climate change. What? You got 10,000 satellites in space beaming down on the Earth. You have cobwebs and antennas on the planet by the millions, radiating the environment. You have cobwebs on the seabed, radiating the sea. You produce products that don't degrade, and you come to tell us man-made climate change? Oh, shut up. You are turning the biosphere into a tech, and then you crop dust us like cockroaches. What are you voting for? Now, let's get to the four most important things. At present, they are lowering testosterone in men and increasing testosterone in women. They are lowering estrogen in women and they are increasing estrogen in men. And then shocked, I tell you, that everybody's gay. If you vote and you do not vote for stable levels of estrogen in women and stable levels for reproduction of stable levels of testosterone in men, what are you voting for? Okay. We are under a biosurveillance security state. If you are not voting to get corporations out of spying on people's homes with these chips, you're spying on them with the wiring in their walls. You're spying on them with the chips in the toilet. You're spying on them when they run the water in their sink. You're spying on them when they print. You're spying on them when they turn their computer on. You're spying on them when through their light bulb, through their smoke alarm, through their stove, through their watch, through their radio, through their speakers. When they walk outside, every camera is built to surveil and track them. You're spying on them with the cables underground. You're spying on them with the neighbors' cameras that they use for private security. You're spying on them with public cameras. You're spying on them through the traffic lights. If you are not voting to rein in the surveillance state, what are you voting for? Okay, AI directed entity weapons, because we learned that energy is just what the entities disperse. Because they deal with entities and they tell you it's energy. Yeah, right. These people are cultists. If we are not voting to rein in the AI entity weapons, known as directed energy weapons, on innocent people in the public, what are you voting for? You know, like targeted individuals? If we are not reining in the misuse of directed energy weapons against innocent civilians all over the planet, what are you voting for? If we are not voting to compensate and stop illegal underground human experimentation, illegal above ground human experimentation, what are you voting for? Notice, I don't deal with issues, I deal with agendas. Let's continue. If you are not voting to stop illegal asset forfeiture, wow, Decoded, that's crazy. That's crazy. Ground your house. Wherever you live, you got to ground. If we are not voting to stop illegal asset forfeiture, you know what illegal asset forfeiture does? It means that you own nothing. If you are not voting to stop illegal asset forfeiture, you're voting for your ass. Let's continue. If we are not voting to stop mass incarceration without due process, proper due process, and when a person has been deemed innocent after spending any time in jail, you properly compensate them. What are you voting for? How are you fighting for abortion when you're bringing children into the what are you bringing the children into the world for? Let's continue. This one people don't realize. If we don't rein in judge, jury, and executioner by the news media and social media, because they took due process out of the courts and they put it in the hands of the news media and social media. And most people don't realize that they are prosecuted and persecuted and convicted by news media and social media. If we do not bring back due process back into the courts and out of the hands of the news media and social media, what are you voting for? What are you voting for? Today, all a social media company or someone on social media and all a news media agency has to do is say, you did an AI. That's the other one that's making up claims against people. All they have to do is say, you did something. And they become judge, jury, and executioner, and your life is ruined. What? Come on. If you are not voting against arbitrary rules by social media companies to violate your rights and steal your online income, oh, you violated community standards. What community standards did I violate? We don't know, but we took your income, and when we figure it out, we'll tell you. And then you can't reach anyone. What? What are you voting for? Why is my freedoms in the hands of a public company? If you're not voting to put a stop to this, what are you voting for? If you're not voting to put a stop to income limitation due to shadow banning, what are you voting for? The internet is the way people make money today. Shadow banning a person and limiting their reach and limiting them from earning a living using the internet to generate income. You shadow ban them. What are you voting for? Okay, if you are not stopping putting technology in the body without the person's consent, and when technology is found in the person's body, all parties must pay, no questions asked. If you are not voting to halt illegal human experimentation via putting technology in people's bodies without their consent, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to stop technology companies violating your privacy in your house by putting listening devices in your house, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to stop tech companies, your new overlords, from violating your rights, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to stop mind control weapons in neighborhoods to create a criminal class, criminals are not born. They are being created via technology. They are creating criminals using laws and technology in order to justify surveillance. If you are not voting to halt mind control weapons in your neighborhoods that are used to create criminals, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to stop the agenda to inject man, woman, boy, girl, plants, and animals against your will, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to stop synthetic foods from going into your stomach and then changing your stomach from biological to technological, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to halt the agenda, where over the last 30, 40 years, they changed the muscle ratio of the American person, that the average American no longer can hold, that can generate muscle. They did it right in front of your face. Look back at videos 30 years ago. 30 years ago, they exercised less. They worked less and they had more muscle mass. Why is muscle important? Muscle doesn't store toxins. Why are fats bad? Oh, because it makes you bigger. No, fats store toxins. They changed the food so that the American body will have a higher fat ratio to muscle ratio. If you are not voting to get to the root of why the American public cannot produce muscle on their body and have a higher increase of fat on their body, what are you voting for? And don't tell me the American public can't have a higher muscle ratio on their body because they did 30 years ago. If you do not vote to stop profiteering off the sick, what are you voting for? Any agenda to make money off of keeping people sick, and you're not voting to shut this down, what are you voting for? And why are you fighting for the rights of children? You're bringing children into a hellscape. You can't, abortion is not the number one issue. It's making sure the people who are alive can produce children that can live and thrive, not bringing them into a hellhole. If you do not vote to stop the sexualization of children and the devaluing of human life after they're born, what are you voting for? If you are not voting against genetic deletion, playing Russian roulette with people's genetics, what are you voting for? If you are not voting against corporations overthrowing resource-rich developing countries and forcing those people into Europe and North America while stealing their land, what are you voting for? Don't complain when they show up at your border. If you do not vote to stop human trafficking of organs and body parts, what are you voting for? Oh, Unica, well said. This is powerful. I love that symbol. The spider in the middle. If you are not voting for health freedom in all 50 states, what are you voting for? If you are not voting for parental rights and informed consent for parents to know what you're teaching and injecting into their children, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to open up the underground countries, I said underground countries, notice I didn't say bunkers or bases. If you are not voting for full disclosure of the underground countries and cities, what are you voting for? Because that's where the agenda comes from. The agenda for planetary takeover comes from underground. If you are not voting for an AI constitution to reign in this AI, what are you voting for? If you are not voting to stop the creation of a technosphere using geoengineering, what are you voting for? If you are not voting for corporations to produce biodegradable products, what are you voting for? If you are not voting for the abolition of property tax, what are you voting for? Property tax means you don't own your property. Let me say it again. If you're paying property taxes, you don't own it. You don't own it. Sorry. Let me say it again. If you are paying property taxes, you don't own your property. In order for a civilization to thrive, they must own what they produced. What are you voting for? If you do not vote for full public disclosure of corporate funding to the media and corporate funding to your politicians, what are you voting for? And if you do not vote for music and movies to change from pornography and drugs and racism and hatred and murder and killing and all that fuckery, If you do not vote to change music and movies to producing peace and harmony, what are you voting for? Did everyone catch that? I'm showing you. This is more than just voting. Did you guys catch that what I'm showing you is more than voting? Did you catch that I told you it was about voting? But when you really look at all the things I showed you, you realize it's not about voting. I'm showing you under the surface, the iceberg that is under the surface of the sea. If you produce, if you're a producer with your energy and you earn an income, then you should have full ownership of what you produce. Your house should be fully yours. That means no one can come and say, you didn't pay me this and I'll take it away. What are you voting for? You're voting for slavery. Do you see the difference between issues and policies and agendas? All right, guys. So listen, before we go, I want you guys to remember. Hold on. We're almost there. Guys, this is the link here. Group training. Okay. It's not going to be at 12. Okay. It's only going to be at 7. So just choose 7. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. Eastern. There's no 12 o'clock. No 12 o'clock. Only 7. Eastern Standard Time. Okay. On the 30th. Be there. Be there. I promise you. Hold on. Let me just okay. Be there, guys. Okay. Let me stop that. All right. 5 minutes of questions. Any questions? And you guys could read the reviews. Be there. Let me post the link. Okay. Da, da, dee, dee, dee. Okay. Any questions? Did you guys catch that? Notice I used it in a way for voting, but I showed you how the system is run and who controls the system. The system is not controlled by the president. The system is controlled by the administrative branches because the administrative branches take the agenda and the policies from the groups that I showed you, and then you just vote in the president, and the president gives you the agenda. Nothing changes. I'm believing that too. Nothing changes. And nothing changes because you don't vote in the administrative branch. Did you catch that? You don't vote for the administrative branch. They are the ones who create and craft all policies and agendas. You only are permitted to vote for the political leaders. The political leaders do not create the policies. Okay? So, using the process of voting, I showed you why the agenda never changes. All right, guys? So, guys, be there on Friday. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Hold on. Okay. I love you guys. Take care of yourself. Love each other. Replay this video. Start to use your critical thinking. This wasn't just for voting. This was to show you that the agenda is so much that's wrong, we will not be able to fix it. Okay? Which means we got to prepare to protect ourselves. You're following? It's so much that's wrong that we may not be able to fix it. Cancer in the blood. Cancer in the blood is one thing. You either have too much radiation coursing through your body or your body's filled with parasites. I don't know what you would do, but I would take, I don't know what you would do because I don't do medicine. I would take MMS, chlorine dioxide. That's what I would do, but I don't know about you. I'm not telling you what to do. I only know what I would do. I'd take chlorine dioxide for myself. Patrick, okay? If you have cancer in the blood, that's probably radiation coursing through your body or parasites, right? But I don't know what you would do, but I would take like MMS. I would take like, like baking soda baths, you know. Yeah, that's what I would do. But I don't know what you would do. You know what I mean? Right? Break the code. So, do you guys see how corrupt and how much problems we're facing? Yeah, decoded. Yep. Yep. I would bathe my way out of it. That's what I would do. Right? So, but you guys see how much of the agenda is moving forward. You might not be able to fix this. So, I use voting to get your attention. Vote for yourself. How are you going to take care of yourself? Because we might not be able to fix this. That's the moral of the story. Guys, love you. I'll probably make another live stream on Thursday. Okay. Love you guys. Please be there on Friday. Make a commitment to be there on Friday. If you can't afford the full thing, message me, email me, email me, email me. Okay. And tell me what you can do, and I'll try to get you in. Right. Love you guys. Take care of yourself. Use your brains, people. Use your brains and everything. Use your brains. Love you. Take care of yourself. Love each other. And have a good night.